the Cowboys are here, and it started with Dak Prescott's stellar play. Ezekiel Elliott ran the rock. Tony Pollard was able to come and give them absolute great carries. And from start to finish, the Cowboys got it done. So, Kyle, are the Cowboys for real this year?
Oh, yeah. I mean, granted, it's only week 4. We still have a long way to go. But what I've seen from this team offensively, they've been phenomenal. And just to kind of focus on the offense here, I mean, once again, just a well-rounded offensive performance. Dak was efficient once again. Granted, he didn't throw for that many yards. He only threw for about 188 yards. But Kevin, he had 4 passing touchdowns. I mean, I don't think you could ask anything more of the guy. He's efficient, he's getting it done, and he's distributing the ball across the board. And not only that, the Cowboys' run game the last 2 weeks has just been phenomenal. Granted, it started with Philly last week on the Monday night game, and it just carried over into this game. And Ezekiel Elliott has just turned it on for this team. He had 143 yards, a touchdown. Tony Pollard came in right after. Dude, that lightning and thunder combo that they have between the two of them, that is going to be a dangerous duo moving forward. If they could stay healthy, bro, opposing defenses are going to have a very difficult time stopping these two. And Kevin, I need to focus on this point. The biggest unsung hero in this game, and nobody ever mentions it, is the offensive line. Kevin, the gaps that Zeke and Tony Pollard can run through, they were literally a man or two wide. They would get the rock and they would shoot through it like it was nothing. They didn't even have to make a cut. Dallas's offensive line controlled this game from beginning to end, and it just established that run game in such a significant way. And even though that Carolina was up 14-13 at halftime, the Cowboys just went on a 20-0 run in the third quarter where not only was the defense getting stops, but the Cowboys were able to turn those stops into points. And the game was essentially out of reach at the end of the third quarter. I mean, the Cowboys were up 19 going into the fourth quarter. I'm not going to say the game's over, but Carolina's going to have a hell of a time getting back into it. And defensively, I just thought the Cowboys were phenomenal once again. Trayvon Diggs is just a beast. 4 games in, he's got 5 interceptions, and he had 2 in this game against Sam Darnold. And to add to that, the Cowboys had 5 sacks. They were able to bring constant pressure against Sam Darnold the entire day. And defensively, if they could keep this up, this is going to be a very tough team to beat because their defense has always been the point of contention in the last couple of years. The offense has been able to get it done for the most part. It's just the defense has really been leaky. They've been giving up so many points the last couple of years. But
that's generous.
But they've really rounded out this unit very well. And that's despite the fact that they're hurt. They have a lot of players that are not even playing on this team right now. Like DeMarcus Lawrence is one, for example, that he's going to be out for another probably month and a half. They've established themselves as the best team in the NFC East. But I have to be honest with you. They're probably like a top 3 or 4 team in the NFC. I have probably the Cardinals, the Rams, and the Bucks, maybe the Packers, kind of like in that mix. But the Cowboys are definitely a top 5 team in the NFC. And you can make a very good case that they're top 5, top 10 team in the league across the board. So give a lot of credit to Dallas. They showed up. This is kind of one of those games that I think a lot of people would expect Dallas to kind of falter under the pressure. But they shine today, bro. And they beat an undefeated team in the Carolina Panthers. Granted, the Panthers may have been a little bit overhyped just based on who they had played the first 3 weeks. But this is a huge win for Dallas. And this is definitely a team to contend with, dude. There's no doubt about it.
The number that I have to circle, because I've realized I'm that guy that I always need to circle something from the game, is the yards per carry for the Dallas Cowboys. 7.2. They ran the ball for 245 yards. Like, Carolina's defense could not stop anything today. Like Kyle said, the Dallas Cowboys offensive line absolutely controlled the line of scrimmage, and they made sure that their presence was known. Mike, 7.2 yards per carry as a team. I granted only 3 people rushed the ball, but that includes Dak's scrambles, 4 for 35 yards. But my 7 point, Kyle, that's huge. It's basically almost an entire first down just running the ball. Like you hand the ball off, it's almost going for the whole thing, the whole 10 yards. Absolutely insane. And Dak was untouched. Dak had no set. Dak was not sacked one time. The Carolina defense before this game was legitimately ranked number 1 in almost every single statistical category, and they were just mopped off the face of the earth. And to switch topics on from defense to defense, like Kyle said, the Dallas Cowboy defense and Traquan Diggs
It's Trayvon.
it's Trayvon. Okay, I was right. Need to be given some respect. And Lord knows when those injuries do recover and those players do come back, this defense low-key could end up being a top 10 defense in the league. I mean, if Trayvon's going to go out there and have an interception every single game, he's on pace for damn near fucking like 18 picks this season. So they're playing very well. The offense is getting it done. They're running the ball effectively, and they're just limiting the turnovers as well. Dak had no interceptions. That's 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and only 188 yards. That's what you need to do to win football games. Granted, they did allow that 14-point fourth quarter, but some would argue that's garbage time, and Dallas took their foot off the gas pedal. So you can make an argument that I keep saying Gallus. What the hell? You could make the argument that Dallas. I don't even know where my train of thought was going with that. Oh my God. The point is, Dallas could have made this a lot worse for Carolina, and I felt like they kind of like eased up a bit, and that's why Carolina was able to claw their way back into the game. But I agree with Kyle completely. Definitely a top 5 team in the NFC. You could make the argument top 10 in the NFL, but they're doing what they need to do, and they're definitely doing it on one side when they weren't expected to, and that's the defensive end. So shout out to Dallas's defense. Shout out to the defensive coordinator. Oh my God, he was the head coach of the Falcons, Dan Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
He has changed everything about this defense. They went and drafted 6 defensive players in last year's draft, and they're all coming out to play, man. That whole next man up concept is coming out very well for Dallas. So we will see what happens as the year progresses, but I'm not going to get too hyped because every time you do, Dallas is like the Mets and a couple of other teams. They win a few games and everyone's like, oh, we're going to the Super Bowl. I give them their credit. They're playing great football, but there's still a whole season left to go, and there is a lot to prove.